All right, Shalom. Shalom with the Brothers of Great Millstone, church in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Yeah, the ancient Hebrew tongue, that would be the correct name of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. I also would like to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men whom we believe through faith to be raised up as the leaders of Israel here today in these latter days. I also want to say shalom to you brothers out there that's laboring in His work, continually pushing out this gospel in all truth, faith, and sincerity, enduring afflictions to do so. I also want to say shalom to you believers out there, the Akim as well as the Aqua, which consists of you brothers along with the sisters that subscribe to this truth as well. So, this sitting right here is going to be entitled Signs and Wonders, all right, which we're going to pretty much revisit the curses found in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which was written to identify and target the children of Israel. Again, we can't emphasize it enough, this ministry is centered around prophecy, man, okay? And prophecy was set up in an effort to shed light on the things in the dark. See, because the so-called white man, when he came into power, what he did, he pretty much distorted everything, man. He put out disinformation and misinformation, man. He pretty much went into the history books, changed a lot of things around. He took down paintings and different icons, right? And he replaced it with his face and his images. And even to this very day, you see these devils campaigning to take out slavery from out the history books, man. You know why? Because this man is a fugitive and he's trying to pretty much wash away his fingerprints. But guess what? The Lord set us up pretty much to shed light. Matter of fact, let's start off in Isaiah, I think that's Isaiah 43:6, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Isaiah 43:6. And also you can get Isaiah 60:1.
All right, Isaiah 43:6.
Yeah, let's see what this says.
I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the end of the earth. Even every one that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, I have made him.
Go ahead.
Bring forth the blind people that have eyes.
Yeah, bring forth the blind people that have eyes. That's dealing with this understanding. Go ahead.
And the deaf that have ears.
Yep, go ahead.
Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled.
Yep.
Who among them can declare this and show us former things?
Yep.
Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear or say it is truth.
Yep, go ahead.
He said, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord.
Right. The Lord said we are his witnesses. Go ahead.
And said, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no power form, neither shall there be after me.
Right. So the Lord said we are his witnesses. Pretty much we were set up to convey what's written in this book, and pretty much to shed light, bring light to this situation, man. Which again was overwhelming darkness. All right. You people that know what the scriptures talk about, matter of fact, give me that what it say, covering cast over the earth. The so-called white man pretty much brought a shadow, all right? And everything was distorted. You didn't know who the hell the nations were, right? And even though the elites, they know that we the nation of Israel, but they set the narrative to hide that information from the world. All right, go ahead.
God, Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
Yep.
And that in the veil that is spread over all nations.
Yeah, in the veil that is spread over all nations. So we're in a time where the Lord is destroying that covering cast, that shadow, that veil, right? So now, give me what you got up. Isaiah 60.
Okay, this is the book of Isaiah 60 and verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Yep, go ahead.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth.
See, the darkness shall cover the earth. That's why our Lord Yahushua said, let us work while it is yet day, for no man can work in the dark. He was literally talking about that time, because he was insinuating that was going to be a time where he was going to be, he's going to be sent back to the Heavenly Father, and the disciples will be scattered abroad. They'll continue in the ministry, but then it'll come to a halt, and that was the time where the so-called white man came into power, pretty much again, in the Renaissance, and to the time that you see now. And in that time, he was set up to bring darkness on the planet Earth, all right, to push forth the vibration of lies, deceit, and falsehood. As a matter of fact, get that real quick in Revelation, the 20th chapter.
Yeah, kind of.
So-called white man did his job, man. He did what he was built to do, be a liar and a deceiver. So that's where we come in at. This is the time when the Lord is pretty much checkmating this devil by bringing forth truth. All right, go ahead out.
Kind of Revelation 20 and 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired.
Right. This is dealing with the time period after the so-called white man came out of obscurity, right? Go ahead.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Yeah, who is that? Is that talking about the guy in the underworld, in the abyss, with the trident in his hand? Matter of fact, if that's talking about him, where the hell he at? No, that's talking about the so-called white man. He would be loose from his prison. That was a time, again, where he was in obscurity. He was in subjection. He didn't have that power that you see now. See, go ahead.
It said, and shall go out to deceive the nations.
What?
Go out to deceive.
And shall go out to deceive. That's the first thing this man did when he came into power. He went and took down all the images, the icons of the real Israelites. He put his face up there. He set up different guys, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, to paint images of the son of the Most High being a so-called white man, the angels, the patriarchs of the Bible, our forefathers, the Heavenly Father himself, man, which is a capital offense. That's blasphemy, man, right? But nevertheless, this is what the so-called white man did after he came into power. Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four corners of the earth.
Yep, see that? So now give me, let's go back here and hold me Isaiah, the 49th chapter. Go ahead.
It says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth.
So you see that? See where the scriptures come together? All right, we just read it in Revelation, the 20th chapter. After Satan was loose from his prison, the first thing this devil did was begin to deceive the nations. And that deceptive promotion, right, if you will, where he promoted, the deception that he promoted is known as darkness. See that? Go ahead.
It says, in gross darkness, it's like it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, in gross darkness the people.
Yep.
For the Lord shall arise upon thee.
Right, so the Lord is going to arise upon us. Go ahead.
And his glory shall be seen upon thee.
His glory shall be seen upon us. Go ahead.
It says, in the Gentiles.
In the what?
In the Gentiles.
Go ahead.
Shall come to thy light.
Shall come to thy light, man. Which a light is a revelation. See? So we are signs and wonders ourselves, man. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, in kings to the brightness of thy rising.
Right, so we will be those Gentiles that came to the light. So now give me what you got, 49 and 6.
All right, kind of. This is Isaiah 49 and 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee a light.
See, I will also give thee a light. Matter of fact, read that again.
It says, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant.
Right, so the Lord said this is a light thing. Although we marvel in this, we praise the Lord that he chose us. He raised us up from the dust, right, to set us among princes, all right, to use us to work this work. Well, the Lord said that's a light thing, man. And that was echoed by Yahweh Shai when he said the Lord can raise up these very stones. Well, that was actually John, but through the inspiration of the Lord, he was speaking those words. The Lord can raise up these very stones, right? Because that's a light thing to the Lord. See, go ahead.
He said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob.
See, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, man. See that? Which proves that. Matter of fact, give me 2 Thessalonians real quick, the 2nd chapter, and the 3rd verse. And you can get Amos, the 9th chapter. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man what?
Let no man deceive you.
Right, which goes into that darkness, man. See, this word was set up as a light in effort to expose the things that was in the darkness. We are now being made aware of things that have been hidden for generations. And that's pursuant to, what's that, Colossians, the 1st chapter, the 26th verse. See? Which the so-called white man spent a lot of time, money, he exhausted a lot of energy and resources in keeping this hidden, keeping this a secret. So this word right here is powerful, man. It has uncovered and unveiled and disclosed secrets that the so-called white man has hidden and buried for generations and generations, which really goes back to Yahweh Basham Yahushua. That's why Yahushua made the statement, now these things are hidden from your eyes. See that? Go ahead.
It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
See, except there come a falling away first. And that happened to us, man. We fell away as a people, right? And that's what we're going to go into, because after 70 AD, you know, we fled from the Roman onslaught of 70 AD, okay? Which you still had Israelites still up in there, but the majority of Israelites fled, and mainly to the interiors of Western Africa, where we was later rounded up and brought over here as cargo, man. And you know the rest of the story, man. See that? But that was that falling away. See, that was that falling away first. See? So go back here. I mean, go with what you got real quick.
This is Amos 9 and 11. It said, in that day will I raise up the tabernacles of David.
Right, raise up the tabernacles of David. Go ahead.
That is fallen.
See, that is fallen, man. So we failed. The prophets, all of us failed. That's why the scriptures say, even your king shall go into captivity, man. So all of us failed when the so-called white man rounded us up, right? But now we're in a time where the Lord is raising us up. But that fallen is that's a very sign that we are the children of Israel. See, it's a blessing really even in everything with Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Why? Because it's all centers around prophecy and clarity. The mere fact that we fail, you know, is a blessing to us, man. Because that proves that we are those people. Matter of fact, give me real quick. Matter of fact, go ahead and finish that. We'll get around to it.
This is Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacles of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins and will build it as in the days of old.
And that's what the Lord doing. When the scripture said build as in the days of old, all the tribes were together under that regime. And what was another distinct detail about that? We had the Edomites in subjection, man. So that proves that we're going back to that time. Okay? Now go back to Isaiah.
Isaiah 43:6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up.
See? To raise up. See that? That's what we were set up to do, man. To raise up. Go ahead.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
See that?
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
Ooh. Go ahead.
I will also give thee for a light.
See, the Lord would give us for a light, man. Pretty much Israel as a whole, but we giving that as a light because we is shedding light on his truth. But as a whole, Israel is a light. Israel itself is a sign and wonder. See that? That's spirit. That just popped up right there. See the signs and wonders? Right without saying it, you know? But Israel itself is a sign and wonder. Read that again.
It says, I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be the day that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Until what?
The end of the earth.
And that's where we at. That's the time we in, the end of the earth. So we are able to shed light on who the Israelites are because they failed. Or they actually lived out what the prophecy said, man. And that's what we're about to get into in this lesson, the fact that we are sign and wonder, because really the main resistance, the opposition that come up against us is all, when you go into the nuts and bolts of it, the source of it, the driving motivation is what? They pretty much trying to rally behind the idea of us not being the Israelites. You know, the obvious nemesis, such as Vocab Malone, Dr. James White, the Edomite, you know, Cherry Love, you know, these different bug outs, you know, even amongst our own people. You know, these so-called Christians out there, right? They whole thing coming up against us. Look, the premise is what? You're not the Israelites of the Bible, okay? Because that alone would pretty much discredit us in everything that we teach. That's the source. That's the main foundation of your argument. If you could prove that we're not the Israelites, then that pretty much cancel out everything else. See? And that in itself is biblical prophecy. Matter of fact, you got a precept?
Oh, yeah, I got some.
Yeah, go ahead and get what you got.
All right, this Hosea Hosea 1:10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
Right. Who pushed that idea? Everybody that really come up against us. Storm with the so-called white man. Before we was even woken up to this knowledge, this doctrine, the so-called white man was saying we was colors, we was Negroes, we was African Americans and Haitians and Jamaicans and Cubans and Guatemalans and Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. That's what the scripture is saying. In a place where it was said, you are not my people, the overtone was what? You are not Israelites. By default, if you're a damn colored, that means you're not an Israelite. See, read that again.
It said, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. In
that same place it shall be said unto you that we are the sons of the living power, which literally translates to Israel. When you go into the word Israel in the Hebrew is Yasha'Allah, meaning princes or sons of the Most High. All right? So give me what you got real quick.
This is the book of Psalm 60 and verse 1. It is, O power that has cast us off, that has scattered us, that has been displeased, or turned thyself towards us again.
Yeah, so the Lord scattered us, right? And that in itself is a sign and wonder, right? Because not only physically we were scattered, but spiritually. We was removed. Matter of fact, give me Jeremiah 17. We was removed from our heritage, man. Why everybody else, all these different nations have some heritage or homeland they can go back to, they can trace back, but the children of Israel, the furthest you can go back is Western Africa, man. There's a vast history, prior to that. But it's a reason why that's the case. We're going to get the scripture, go ahead.
Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage.
See, you're going to discontinue from your heritage, see? That's why, what are your family portraits dedicated to? You posing with grandma, you reliving memories. It's centered around Christmas or Thanksgiving. That's not your heritage, man. The 4th of July, that's when you can relive memories. Yeah, man, the last 4th of July, man, that's when I saw Cuz. Why? Because you would discontinue from your heritage. Read that again.
God, it said, thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
See that?
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
See that? And that's a sign and wonder who we are. See that? Matter of fact, give me Numbers 23 and 9 real quick. Because again, those who come up against us, their whole argument is you're not the Israelites. When I don't give a damn if you say the mark of the beast is not the RFID chip. In a roundabout way, you're trying to discredit us from being the Israelites. Because that's what it all goes back to. See? Go ahead.
God, this Numbers 23 and 9. For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations.
See, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. We are not reckoned or recognized among the nations as being the Israelites. See that? And they vehemently come up against that idea. They got no problem with these gutter rats who don't fit the prophecies. They got no problem with them saying that they're the Israelites, even our own people. But who those people is, those are imposters over there. All right? So now, you got something?
Yeah,
go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms 83 and verse 4. Is that they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, there was a well thought out scheme, a well devised plan and strategy by not only the so-called white man. When you read that chapter in its entirety from the top, it tells you that there was a conglomerate of nations and one confederacy. All the nations really came together to keep us from knowing who we are. Read that again.
It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, and that's what they did. They cut us off from being a nation. Matter of fact, give me that in what's that, Proverbs 6? But it was spearheaded by the so-called white man. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel.
See, that the name of Israel, go ahead.
May be no more in remembrance.
Will be no more in remembrance. Prior to now, the last thing on your mind was associate yourself with being an Israelite. That wasn't in your remembrance. The deepest that Jake got, his ceiling was, I'm from the tribe of Ashanti, the lost tribe of Shabazz, some old crazy bugged out shit, man. You know? But these devils, along with the other nations, but mainly the so-called white man, the deceiver, he accomplished that feat of the name of Israel being no more in remembrance. See that? So go ahead, give me what you got.
Which one?
6:16.
Yeah. So okay. Yep. Yeah. This is Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things does the Lord hate. Yes, some are an abomination unto him.
Right. Which that number 7 and its numerical value, according to the scriptures, is completion. So the Lord said, these 6 things I hate, and even 7, right? Meaning whoever fits these characteristics, the Lord completely hates you. Let's see who this got to be. Go ahead.
A proud look.
A proud look, the so-called white man. Let's check that off. Go ahead.
A lying tongue.
A lying tongue. This man is a liar. That's why he's known as the devil, the deceiver. Okay? Case in point, everything this man do, from his movies, his history, everything is distorted. Everything is tainted with lies. Okay? That's the liar. Go ahead.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
Right. And we don't even have to really go into that. So-called white man shed innocent blood. When you consider what happened over here in the Americas, not just North America, Northern, Central, and Southern America, man. All right, when these devils came over here, right, the Spaniards, and they conquered our people, they shed innocent blood, man. Not only that, they shed the blood of those who nursed them back to health, right? Showed them how to farm, showed them how to till the land. How did these devils reward our people? By turning the sword on them. See? That's them. They shed innocent blood. Go ahead.
And heart that devises wicked imaginations.
Yeah, and even to this very day, their secret councils, they devise wicked imaginations. You know, for one, they're trying to have everybody chipped. And if all else fail, they just want to kill everybody off, man, pursuant to the Georgia Guidestones. See? Go ahead.
Feet that be swift and run into mischief. A false witness that speak of lies.
Yep.
And he that soweth discord.
And he that what?
Soweth discord among brethren.
He that sowed discord among brethren. So-called white man guilty of that. He sowed discord amongst Israel. And that's not just dealing with, you know, pitting Israelites against each other, with Crips and blood. No. When it means to sow discord is to cut your line off. A cord is a line, which goes to your lineage. This man sowed discord. He cut our line off. So you don't know who you are. You don't know who your forefathers are, man. Which these devils got the record books. See that? So that proves it proves 2 things on both fronts. That this man is the devil, and it also proves that we the Israelites, man. See that? So now with that, let's go into unless you got another precept. All right, so let's go into the curses. And we're going to prove through the Spirit when you go back, because we got to revisit topics like this, you know, which when you go into the curses is prophecy, man. See that? Even the curses is prophecy. So read the first from 15 and then jump around.
All right, this is Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I have commanded this day, that all these curses,
see that all these curses, go ahead,
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And overtake thee. And that's what happens to us. When something overcome and overtake you, it's like it chase you down. You know, it chase you down, then it grab you and it corral you. It overtake you, and that's what happens to us. Right? Go ahead.
Look, that's one of them. This is verse 16. Curse shall be in the city.
Yeah, curse thou shalt be in the city, right? Go ahead.
And curse shall thou be in the field.
And in the field, meaning everywhere you go. All right, our people is cursed in the city. Case in point, you go to these different neighborhoods, these inner city, the urban areas. It's a curse, man. You know, these nations, they ride through there and they make mockery of you. You know, they look at you like, oh shit, you know, as if it's a spectacle, like that's the zoo, man. You know, let me take you through the lower side of East Manhattan, you know. Let me show you how these niggas live, man. You cursed in the city, man. Goddamn clotheslines, you know, clothes hanging over banisters and graffiti. Man, that's a curse, man. Especially considering that fall from grace, where we was prior to that, man. We was a royal people, man. See that? And what made us royal, the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah, it was given unto us to separate us, to make us holy over all the other nations. So think about that. When you take a step back and look at it in its entirety, man. You went from sugar to shit, man. See that? Go ahead.
Jump down, verse 28. It said, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness.
Right. And see, that applies to this very day. Our people are mad and they blind. Okay? Which that's a curse, man. That's a curse. You know what proved that? Give me Matthew 13 and 16. Whoever can get it first. Because, just for an example, right? If I was to leave you in the wilderness, in the damn forest, all right, and I take away your extremities, you might not be able to walk or whatever. But as long as you got your eyes, your sight, and your hearing, you can survive. Because you can see what's coming and you can hear what's coming and you can drag yourself off into safety, man. But you can be 6'8", with fighting skills. But if you lack the sight, you have your hearing is impaired and your sight, you good as dead, straight up. See, that was the main two senses that's for survival. So that's why the Lord said, I will curse you with blindness. Madness and blindness, man. Right? Which is the opposite of this right here. Correct?
The same Matthew 13 and 16. But blessed are your eyes.
But what?
Blessed are your eyes.
But blessed. What's the two differences? You see the two extremes? You got cursed. The blindness is a curse, and the blessing is the sight. See that? Read it again.
It said, but blessed are your eyes, for they see.
You see that? And that's concerning all of you out there who partake in these counsels. You continue in the faith. You blessed, man. You can see. And I'm gonna throw this out there, man. It's gonna get bad out here, man. The Lord finna show you. It's gonna go down out here, man. You got these devils. They pushing forth this mandatory. And Lord will, I'm gonna do a lesson on it. They pushing forth the idea of making it mandatory to get these vaccines. They're putting the pressure on now, and they even saying, which I came across an article where they said they don't care about your religious views or what you might think. They say it's going to be done in the spirit of protecting everybody health wise. So they're gonna say, you know what, we don't care about what you believe. This is all an effort to protect everybody's health, right? So it's about to get nasty. Daniel the 12th chapter about to come into play. All right, go ahead.
He said, but blessed are your eyes, for they see.
So again, we just read the curses. The Lord shall curse you with blindness, but on the flip side, you're blessed with sight. See that? Go ahead.
Said, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
The two main senses that's critical for survival. All right, you got a piece of it?
I got some real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Rock 25 and 13. Give me any plague.
Yep, give me any plague. Go ahead.
With the plague of the heart.
With the plague of the heart, which is the plague of the mind. And that's where madness come in. And our people is mad. See how people, man, you might be in just some public place, the grocery store or whatever. Jake walked by pants sagging, psycho, babbling, rapping some shit to himself. And he acting it out, hand justice. Man, that's madness, man. And not just that. Even the Jakes that act as if they know something. They might have paperwork that should somehow validate their understanding, whether it's in the form of a doctor's degree, bachelor's degree, right? You crazy as hell. Even the scriptures say, if that light, your light, even that light is as darkness. Oh, matter of fact, give me that. In Job, the 10th chapter. It says in Job, the 10th chapter too. Let's get that real quick. Because the craziest motherfucker, and I'm a witness to this, man. The crazy, I got family members that went to college and shit, went to college for 4 years. Man, they the craziest motherfuckers you want to encounter. If you're talking about some conversation with substance, right? They crazy, man. They're going to take you on a roller coaster ride. Why? Because the information here is really disinformation. Go ahead.
This is the book of Job 10, start verse 21. Before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness.
And what's the land of darkness? America, right? Go ahead.
And the shadow of death.
And the shadow of death. Read.
And the land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order.
Without any order. That proves that's talking about America. This place is completely out of order, right? Go ahead.
And where the light is as darkness.
Read that again.
It says, and where the light is as darkness.
And what even the light is as darkness. Meaning those who are perceived to have understanding, some type of degree, that's darkness, man. See that? And those are really the craziest ones. So like I just read, give me any plague of the plague of the heart. So now let's go back to the curses.
This is back to Deuteronomy 28 and 28 again. It said, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Yep, go ahead.
He said, thou shalt grope at the noonday as the blind grope in darkness.
And that's being fulfilled right now. That's a prophecy that Moses was speaking to them. Moses was a prophet, man. Right? He was telling them a prophecy concerning right now, this noonday. What noonday symbolizes the highest point of light. This is the highest point of information. Why? Because the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the scriptures, the supreme knowledge, that's the supreme knowledge of any other knowledge, right? Is on display right now. See that? So this will be noonday. This is the highest point of knowledge and information. Yet our people groping around, man. See that? Go ahead.
He said, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind grope in darkness.
Matter of fact, give me Isaiah 59, I believe it is. Isaiah 59, and I think around the 5th, 6th verse or something like that.
All right, kind. Yeah, this is Isaiah, the book of Isaiah 59 and 5 said, they hatch cockatrice eggs and weave the spider's web.
Matter of fact, jump down to the 9th verse.
Okay, kind.
Start at the 8th verse.
All right. This is Isaiah 59 and 8. The way of peace they know not.
Yeah, what's the way of peace? It's truth, man. That's why this is known as a comforter. You know? The way of peace they know not. Go ahead.
And there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace.
Right, and these crooked paths is Islam. Associate itself with being a Moor. All right, Christianity. Whatever doctrine out there that you subscribe to, that's a crooked path. And the scripture says those who take those paths shall not know peace. Meaning you shall not know this truth. You got something?
Yeah, kind. This is the book of Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see.
Stand ye in the ways and what?
And see.
And see, man. Go ahead.
And ask for the old paths.
And ask for the old path. That's why the Lord said, you have not inquired of my mouth. That's why you have certain brothers that might ask questions. Yo, what does this mean? You know, that's asking for understanding. The old path, the straight path. Go ahead.
Where is the good way?
Where's the good way? Go ahead.
And walk therein.
Yep.
And you shall find rest for your soul.
Oh, and that's the peace.
That's it.
That's the peace. That's the comfort. See, go ahead.
But they said, we will not walk therein.
Yeah, and that's Acts the 7th chapter. Well, our people, they resist the spirit, even as their fathers did. So do ye. You know, which Stephen cut our people to the heart with that statement, man, proving that they was the Israelites. Go ahead. That was it on that?
Yeah,
all right, so now let's go back.
Isaiah 59 and 9. It says, therefore is judgment far from us, neither doth justice overtake us. We wait for light.
See, we wait for light, meaning you looking for answers. Our people wait for light in a goddamn Million Man March or some seminar, a city council meeting. Let's get a basketball hoop. Let's get a court. You know what I mean? Yeah, people done, man. And we gotta thank Yahweh Shah, you know, because look at the low level our people on, man. And it's not about our own doing. The Lord was merciful to us, man. Nevertheless, that's the level our people on. They wait for light. They wait for answers. See, go ahead.
You said we wait for light, but behold obscurity.
But all you get is obscurity, man. See, go ahead.
For brightness.
Yeah, for brightness.
But we walk in darkness.
But you walk in darkness. Go ahead.
We grope for the wall.
See, we grope for the wall, man. All right, and what the wall symbolizes? A defense. You're reaching for some type of defense. You think it's in money, monetary gain. You know, let's build up a financial. No, man, that's not your defense. Our defense is in Yahweh Shema Shah. And it tells you that in Psalm 7.
Yep, Psalm 7.
My defense is of the Most High that save the upright in heart. See, go ahead.
It said we grope for the wall like the blind, and we
see
grope
like the blind. Which all goes back to the curses, man. So Deuteronomy 28 is prophecy. It's considered the milk because when you hear that, it should resonate with you. Now, I remember when I first came into this thing, man, it's the spirit. I first came across the apostles. The first thing they was going into was the curses, man. So I knew when I look back in retrospect, that was the Lord being real merciful to me, man. You know, let me learn from the basics, you know? Because some people come across the apostle and they might be going into the UFOs. And they'll say, nah, I don't believe. You know what I mean? right? So the curses is the prophecies, man. We prophesying tonight when we're going to the curses. And we're going to show you that in the spirit. Go ahead.
Okay. It says, it's like we grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday.
See, we stumble at noonday, proving that we read a prophet. Isaiah was a prophet, right? So the scripture saying how people are going to stumble at noonday. Again, noonday symbolizes the highest point of light, when the highest point of information. Like if you go back 56s or whatever, even past that, Benjamin Banneker or some shit, that was a form of light.
Yep.
They knew certain things, but it was in noonday. It wasn't the highest point of light. You witnessing the highest point of light. Yet our people is stumbling.
Yep.
They stumbling, man. Right? Go ahead.
It says, we stumble at noonday as in the night.
Yeah.
We are in desolate places as dead men.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say something, man. That's heartbreaking. I mean, really, man. That's why the prophets, and certain times you'll have a soft spot for Israel, man. That's why the Lord said, pray not for the people. But in reality, especially when you see, that's why Yahweh Shah wept, man. He wept over Jerusalem because he saw what was about to happen, man. And in the spirit, we see, damn, Jake about to get it, man. Yeah. But, really, when you read that with understand what all Jake going through, and they trying, they scratching and clawing, really, that's heartbreaking, man. Read that again, huh?
Back Isaiah 59 and 10 again, it says, we grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. Yeah. We stumble at noonday as in the night. Yeah. We are in desolate places as dead men.
See, that continues.
It said we roar all like bears.
See, we roar like bears, man. See, go ahead.
And mourn sore like
So that's
doves.
really mourning. They mourning, man. They mourning sore like doves. That's the state of our people, man. Man, this is critical, man, what we witnessing right now. This is serious business, man. This is not nothing you come into, to boast in what you know, man. This dictates life and death, man. See that? Go ahead.
We look for judgment.
See, they look for judgment. Or not they protesting, locking arms. They looking for judgment, right? Go ahead.
He said, we will look for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, but it's far from us.
See, that's heavy, man. They can't get salvation, man. And it's all based upon the sight or the lack thereof. Let's go back to the curses.
Yeah, this Deuteronomy 28:29. And thou shalt grope at noonday.
See, so we reading prophecy. Go ahead.
It said, as the blind grope in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
Yeah, people not prospering in their ways, man. A case in point. What they call it? Out there in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Right? You was not going to prosper in that. Right? Go ahead.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
And no man shall save thee. Okay? For an example, our people, they aligned themselves. It was a time where our people were wearing dashikis and shit, and they was aligning themselves with being Africans. Well, Nelson Mandela then put together a campaign to come get you out of this situation. Right? Nobody was going to save you. The only one who set up to save you is Yahweh Shah, man. Right. And when you go into later on in history, you rejected him. See? You cast off your salvation. Go ahead.
So thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Yeah, you're going to betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Did not that happen to our people? I forget what movie that was. Was that 12 Years a Slave? Django. I know that one.
Django, yeah. I know Roots too.
Yeah, Roots. Yeah. All right, and not just those movies, those period pieces, if you will, but you might go into a documentary or even read up on our captivity. That was common, man. You betroth a wife, you have a wife, then so-called white men bust in and lay with them, man. That proves that's a sign and wonder who we are. See, go ahead.
It says, thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
Yeah, and that happened. Not the 12 Years a Slave. Remember, he was building Solomon North Club. He was building the house. that was coming. Our people, they'll build a house where they will not dwell therein. Go ahead. They plant a vineyard.
Yep. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Right. The vineyard. Here it is. You planted the vineyard. You sweated and prick your goddamn hand, cut yourself, shed blood, and you ain't grabbing none of the grapes. So-called white man gathered.
Yep.
You didn't drink one sip of that yayan, man. Go ahead.
Jump down to verse 32.
No, hold up.
Okay.
Hold up. Matter of fact, read what you're going to read.
Verse 32, it said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given.
Okay, well, hold that and read this again. I want you to go over the information.
All right. This is back Deuteronomy 28:30. It said, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt build an house, and shall not dwell therein.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Now, obviously we know that they're physically laboring, building a house.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they didn't sleep in the mansion. Like Stephen said, boss, what this nigga doing? He gonna sleep, he gonna sleep because it wasn't even fathomable. It wasn't, you can wrap your mind around living in the master's house. You lived in some damn quarters. Now you had house niggas, but that even goes further. It goes beyond that when it says you should build a house and not lay in it, or you should plant a vineyard and not gather the grapes, or reap. Pretty much, you're not going to reap the benefits. Well, that actually goes into what we want to bring out right here, this information. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah, this is from theconversation.com, and it reads, America's always had black inventors.
Yeah, America always had black inventors, right? Go ahead. Which pretty much everything that you see was invented. I think this nigga Thomas Edison, if I'm not mistaken, he take credit for the traffic light or some shit. That goes back to a Jake, man. All right? Go ahead.
It said America always had black inventors, even when the patent system explicitly excluded them.
Right. So you had a patent system, which the patent system, you patent, you label a certain invention as being yours. That's a patent. That goes back to the Constitution. Though, in the Constitution concerning patents, right? But it said Jake was excluded from that.
Yep.
See that? That's a form of building a house and not living in it, or planting a vineyard and not gathering the grapes or getting the reaping the benefits. Go ahead.
It says America has long been the land of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Said more than 13,000 years ago. The Clovis people created what many call the first American invention, a stone tools used primarily to hunt large game. The spirit of American creativity has persisted through the millennia, through the first American patent granted in 1641 and on to today.
So they said America was really pretty much made great from these different inventions, but it goes to Israel. We made Egypt great back then, and we made this place great. Go ahead.
It said one group of prolific innovators, however, has been largely ignored by history. Black inventors born or forced into American slavery.
Yeah. They was excluded from getting that credit, which that goes into the curses, man. Mm-hmm. See? Go ahead. Which is a sign and wonder.
Is it?
Proving that we the Israelite vocab. Go ahead.
It said, though U.S. patent law was created with colorblind language to foster innovation, the patent system consistently excluded these inventors from recognition.
Right, see that? The patent system, that was a legislation, that was a snare set up, a trap, set up to keep Jake from, receiving the credit due. Go ahead.
He said, as a law professor and licensed patent attorney, I understand both the importance of protecting inventions and the negative impact of being able to use the law to do so. But despite
use the law to do so, give me a scripture on that, where they use their laws. They use their laws to pretty much oppress Jake, man. You got to remember, our curse is Esau's blessing, meaning Esau being in power is by default a curse unto us. Why? Because they get off on oppressing you, man. See, Jake got a mentality of shining and stunting and fronting, jewelry and gold and cars and clothes and hope. Esau lust is to hang a noose around your fucking neck, man. Go ahead.
Kind of Wisdom Solomon 2. I'm gonna start at 10. He said, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice."
See, let our strength be the law of justice, man. So these different patent laws, they trusted in that, but it was all an effort to oppress you. See that? Go ahead.
Yeah,
that was it. Go ahead.
It says, but despite patents being largely out of reach to them throughout early U.S. history, both slaves and free African Americans did invent and innovate.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they invented and innovated, different things that you see to this very day. Yep. Yeah, these devils, they don't acknowledge us. Yep. Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It says, though the language itself was race neutral, like many of the rights set forth in the Constitution.
Yeah, because they wasn't meant for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right? Go ahead.
He said, like many of the rights set forth in the Constitution, the patent system didn't apply for Black Americans born into slavery.
See that? Go ahead.
Slaves were not considered American citizens.
And you see how Esau twist shit, talking about born into slavery. Every one of you was born into goddamn slavery. All of a sudden, you on the block, you live in a house, and you don't know nothing about it. Get the fuck out of here. All the so-called Negroes came over here, came as slaves, man. Like somebody just popped up on their own ship. Yeah. You know? See how Esau is, man? So even when you go into the history, you gotta, make sure you watch this devil, man. His sleight of hand. Go ahead.
It says slaves were not considered American citizens.
Yeah, it wasn't considered. It was considered what, 3/4 of a man. Fucking devil, you the fucking dog. Because the scriptures say he is viler than the earth. Meaning you have felt much better eating something off the ground than eating out of the hand of a goddamn devil, man. See that? That's why we gonna put head. See, it makes sense now. When you first come into this thing, you have to grow, man. But it tells you that in Proverbs. That's one of my favorite scriptures. That Proverbs, the 4th chapter. As the day it gets clearer and clearer, as the day done, it's getting clearer and clearer. And why the Lord and what the Lord told us, what your gift is going to be a rod of iron. We get that now, because when you come into this thing, your lust is to get these devils, man. Because that's why the Lord knows that. That's why even the Most High knew what the Lord wanted. He said, I'm going to give unto you the heathen as an inheritance. Because he knew that was the desire of the Lord. And that's the Lord know our desire. We want to rule over our enemies, man. That's why the Lord said, and you are going to receive a rod of iron even as I receive. Yep, go ahead.
It says slaves were not considered American citizens, and laws at the time, prevented them from applying for or holding property. Yeah, including patents.
Yep, see, including patents, man, which that went a long way. That's pretty much that's your legacy. Whenever you can patent something, whenever you can stamp, that actually goes into borders. That's a form of removing the border, man. If I got a patent, I'm saying this is mine. That goes to cattle, whatever your possessions. I said, look, that's my patent on it. That's mine. That's my creation. See, but the devil took that away from you, man. See, you got some more on that?
That was pretty.
It's a lot.
I know it's a little bit.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, kind of jump down.
I'm ready to get back in the script on fucking devils, man.
I mean, that was pretty much.
Well, if you got a little more, go ahead.
I'll just get this last little paragraph. Right. It says, slaves' inventions exploited by owners. It says,
see, slave inventions exploited by owners, man. And invention go a long way. If these devils play fair ball, then your invention would be enough to suffice. You can take care of your family. That's your work of your hands, man. You created that. See that? Go ahead.
It says during the 17th and 18th centuries, America was experiencing rapid economic growth.
Yeah, why is that? Because of Jake. Go ahead.
It said Black inventors were major contributions during this era.
Yeah, that's right.
even though most did not obtain any of the benefits associated with their inventions, since they could not receive patent protection.
That's heavy right there. Okay, that's one of the hidden devices that these devils use to oppress us. Patent prevention, man. So hold up, go back to Deuteronomy real quick.
All right.
That's a build a house.
All right, kind of Deuteronomy, continue on 28 and 30. It said, "Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein."
See that, and that actually applies to these patents as well. Because when you build a house, you building a foundation, if you will. That's an invention.
Yep.
See, go ahead.
It said, "Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes
You're
thereof."
not going to reap the benefits of it. You're not going to reap, and gather the grapes. And we just read information on that.
Yep.
All right, you got some?
Yeah, kind. This book of Sirach 13, and then start at verse 4. It says, "If thou be for his profit, he will use thee."
Woo! Read that again.
It says, "If thou be for his profit, he will use thee."
And that's what these devils did. They use you for your profit. For his profit, should I say? Go ahead.
It says, "But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee."
Yep, that's the devil for you. All right, so go ahead. You can go back here.
Kind. Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah, kind. This is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to jot down 32. It says, "Thy son and thy daughter shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long."
Yeah, and that's well documented in these different movies and period pieces, man. I forget I think it was the 12 Years a Slave, where the girl kept crying all day and kept crying, and he was like, "Hey man, look man, let me mourn for my." Oh, and Roots as well.
Yep.
Remember they took Kizzy.
Yep.
Yeah, those names like that and shit like that, man. That's another thing. Man. That's a fucking offense, man.
Yep.
You went from Hebrew names to silly or some crazy shit. Kizzy, right? But remember they took her, and they was longing for that. Happened, man.
Yep.
That was dramatic. It was even more vivid than that. When you go into these different auction blocks, which they got auction blocks like in Atlanta. I think 5 Points Atlanta was an auction block. I know right here what we teach at. If you watch us teach, that was a hanging gallery too, and it was like I don't know if it was 5 Points South. I think he know more. He might, if you watch it, he put it up there. But it was certain spots where it was like auction blocks where they were sold, where you were sold. They'll bring a family, might be a family, a man, woman, 2 boys, 3 girls, and they'll split them up. They'll send the mother to Florida. They'll send one of the little girls to Tennessee, brother to Georgia, another brother. You know what I mean? The fucking devil did that, man. See what I'm saying? That was overdoing it. You furthered the affliction by doing shit like that. And even to this very day, when you go into like these borders where Jake is getting caught up, and it's not just so-called Mexicans getting caught up in those borders, man. Those Guatemalans and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what they doing in those borders, they splitting up, they taking the little girls and little boys and separating them from their mother and father, man. They catch a family and they're just separate. That's unnecessary, man. That's why you devils, you got a lot to pay for, man. I get it, man. The scripture said with much understanding is much sorrow. See, the average Jake, they worried about how to match up their outfit, that's the worst thing on their mind, right? But see, when you exposed to this truth, man, it brings sorrow, right?
So going back to the North tribe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Splitting up their families. This Hosea 9
that's it.
And 13. It said, "Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer."
And that's what you see people doing, especially the northern tribe. When they try to come to the border, you actually bringing your children to the murderer, man, which is Esau, man. See that?
Yep.
You got a precept? All right, so now let's go back.
All right, back through the run 30 and 32, 28 and 32 again said, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look."
And guess what? We're going to repay you with that. Scriptures tell you how we're going to give your sons. I think that's Joel 3rd chapter. Yep. We're going to give your son to the Sabians, man. The Sabians, those Hamites, and they're going to beat the shit out of you. They're going to say you, the Hamite awkward. They hit your ass. Yeah, we're going to repay you. Trust me. Just sit back, Esau. We got you. Yep. Go ahead.
He said, "Thine eyes shall look on and fail with longing for them all the day long."
Yeah, so our people, they was longing for their children, man. Go ahead.
And there shall no might be in thy hand.
Yeah, no strength be in your hand. You know, you had no power in your hand to recover your children, man. All right? Here it is, you're a man, and you hear the sounds of your woman being raped, man. That's the reality of what these devils did to us, man. See that? But again, it's all set up as a sign and wonder to who we are. Okay, go ahead, Ash.
Okay, this is I'm gonna jump down. Verse 37, Deuteronomy 28:37. It said, "Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations."
Yeah, and that's what it is. You're called spicks, you know, niggas and coons and wetbacks. See that? You have become an astonishment and a proverb amongst all nations. See that? Go ahead.
Okay, it says, "And thou shalt become astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me continue on. It said, "Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in,
Mm-hmm.
for the locusts shall consume it." It said, "Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor of the grapes."
And yeah, we just shared the information with you,
Mhm.
you know, with the whole patent prevention system or the so-called white man, which again, when you go into the in-depth research and all that, that was in the Constitution. You know, the whole patent thing.
Mhm.
See? Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump down. Verse 43.
Mm-hmm.
It said, "The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high."
And you see that, man. The stranger within you have gotten up very high. Case in point, in your neighborhoods, you got damn Arabs, you know, Elam up in there, and they can't even speak goddamn English, man. If you talk to one of these damn telemarketers or some crazy shit, call your phone, or you try to call, you know, one of these services, it's a goddamn Google something that can't even speak English. But they tell you if you go to college, and that's what that civil rights shit, man, that did a number on our people, man. Right? They got spit on and beat just to get you to enroll in Mississippi State or some crazy shit, man. And that shit kept you in further derision, man. You know? But the scriptures say the stranger that's among you gonna go up very high. You see these damn foreigners, they get a grant. They get a goddamn $10 million grant or some shit to start their own business. And here it is, you've been over here going to college and you work at Metro PCS, man. That's the curses, man. Read that again.
God, it says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high."
Yep. See that? Go ahead.
"And thou shalt come down very low.
Yep.
And he shall lend to thee,
Mm-hmm.
and thou shalt not lend to him."
Yeah, and they're going into these bankers, the banking system, so-called white men lend to you. Really, everything you got is lent to you, man. If you ain't got your own land, which that's even counseled out, because let's just say if you got your own land. Well, if you try to plant something, they'll lock your ass up, man. So everything is lent. This is temporal over here, man. And the so-called white man is the power. That's why when you go to Ezekiel, the 17th chapter, it tells you how that branch, it leaned towards the eagle. Meaning it was the so-called white man who furnished everything for you. Go ahead.
It says, "He shall be the head,
Yep.
and thou shalt be the tail.
Yep.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee,
Uh-huh.
and shall pursue thee,
Yep.
and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed."
Yeah, and now what it means by destroyed is your structure taken from you. You're going to fall. Your house is going to fall. Right? The structure of your house is going to be taken from you. You're going to be in ruin. That's what the so-called white man was sent to do. Go ahead.
It said, "Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power."
And see, that's mercy right there. If you're paying attention, the Lord didn't have to tell you why. Read that again.
It said, "Because."
See?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. And see, that ain't for the faint-hearted right there. That's for the serious-minded. That was mercy. The Lord didn't have to tell you why. The Lord said, look, because you did this, man. So now we know what to do to make things right. Read that again.
It said, "Because thou hearkenest."
Hey, that's a good coach.
Yep.
The reason why you didn't do that because you didn't follow, you know, or the reason why you didn't put this together the right way because you neglected to do this, you know? Go ahead.
It says, "Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
See, read that again.
It said, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So these curses are upon us for a sign and for a wonder, man. All right, it's a method to the madness of the Lord, if you will. Everything is a teaching moment. Even the Lord putting us through all this hell was for a sign and wonder, for prophecy's sake. Okay. Matter of fact, you got something?
Yeah, I got the word sign, Strong's H226, a Y. And it says sign, signal.
Woo, signal, man. Right, go ahead.
A distinguishing mark.
A distinguishing mark, man. This proves that we the Israelites. See that? Go ahead.
It says banner, remembrance.
Ooh, a remembrance. This is a memorial. This was set up, the curses were set up as a memorial that this the Israelites right there, man. Those are the people of the Most High. And those are the ones that rebelled against the Most High. And that's what happens when you rebel against. See, that's how, which that's going to happen to Esau. Esau is going to be left as a memorial, not to handle the Most High, man. See that? Go ahead.
Miraculous sign.
Yeah, this is a miraculous sign right here. Hey, even the fact that we was able to survive.
Yep.
Man, all what the fucking these devils did those, man. Right? Go ahead.
Omen.
Yep, an omen.
Warning.
A warning, man, of not how to handle the Lord moving forward. But hey, even the mercy of the Lord is going to be shown in the fact that the Lord is going to place the laws in our inward parts, meaning we'll never again go back into captivity. Matter of fact, give me that in Lamentations. You got something?
Yeah, kind of just going back on us having curses on us. This is the book of Psalm 60 and verse 3. That has showed thy people hard things.
Yeah.
That has made us to drink the wine of astonishment.
Right. Yeah. That's what the Lord calls us to do, man. You know? Why? Because again, we omitted the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua from our existence. That's a capital offense in itself. Okay? You ought to hearken to your power, man. You know? But we learned the hard way. But guess what? That's good news with Israel. You know? Especially the elect. Go ahead and give me what you got.
This Lamentations 4:21.
Which, by the way, that word lamentation translates to weeping and mourning, man. That's a book dedicated to the weeping and mourning of Israel. And it's known as Lamentations, which a lot of historians, they coin Jeremiah as the weeping prophet, which he wrote Lamentations. Go ahead.
Lamentations 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellers in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked.
Go ahead.
The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion.
And that's another sign and wonder. Our punishment is accomplished. The mere fact that we standing up boldly, cussing out you devils, man, and we telling you your fate. Because if you expected the Lord to descend down to the planet Earth and tell you you're guilty and bring up these charges against you, that's not going to happen. The Lord used up his prophets to convict you, man. So that in itself is another sign and wonder that we have reached the end of our sentence, so to speak. See that? All right, go ahead.
He would no more carry thee away into captivity.
And how is that feat going to be accomplished? Because according to the prophecy, we're not going to go off again. Why? Because the Lord is going to put the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, which is going to cause us to live forever and never, man. And that's spoken of in the book of Proverbs. Matter of fact, you want to get that real quick? Proverbs 7?
Yep.
Go ahead. You got some over here? Hold on. Oh, okay. Because I got some over there too.
Yeah, this is Proverbs 7 and 2. It says, keep my commandments and live.
See, read that again.
It said, keep my commandments and live.
Yeah, so the Lord has sanctioned that for us. That's written, that's spoken. You know, you often come across the phrase, the Lord has spoken. Well, that was spoken. That's going to come to pass. We're going to actually keep the commandments and live. Because again, the third phase of the installment of the laws, if you will, the first phase was the oral, okay, distribution of the law. Then you had the written law. Then you're going to have the law where it's going to be inserted in us. It's going to be woven in our inner part, our mind. We're going to keep the law instinctively. It's second nature. And that's going to cause us to live. See that? So now you got more on that?
It's a little bit more on that definition. It says token, ensign, standard, miracle, proof.
Proof. Woo! Proof. So when the scriptures say these curses going to be on us as sign and wonder, it's going to be for proof that we the Israelites, man. See that? Matter of fact, you got something else?
Yeah, I was trying to see what that word wonder.
Okay.
Strong's 8.
So that's heavy, man. The Lord said these signs are upon us for proof. You can't rebuttal this action right here, man. You can't rebuttal history and how it coincides or complements what's spoken of in the prophecies in relation to the children of Israel. You can't get around that. See that? Go ahead. Did he have some?
Yeah, it's the word wonder. It says wonder, sign, miracle, portent. It says wonder as a special display of the Most High's power.
Woo! So this is a display of the power of the Lord. Again, showing you what not to do when concerning the Lord. All right? That was it. Give me Baruch, the 2nd chapter. Let's start at the top. You got something?
No, maybe.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let's see.
Matter of fact, yeah, start at the top. Baruch 2 and 1. Which, by the way, Baruch, he was if I'm not mistaken, he was a scribe for Jeremiah. You know.
Let me get it right here. All right, this is the book of Baruch.
And you notice they go into Babylon. When you, especially with the letter of Jeremiah, which is really Baruch, the 6th chapter. See that? Go ahead.
Baruch 2 and 1. Therefore, the Lord have made good his word.
See, that's what the Lord made good his word. Okay. And when was his word spoken? Going all the way back to the curses, man. Because that was a death threat, pretty much, that the Lord carried out. See that? Go ahead.
It said, therefore, the Lord had made good his word.
So the Lord confirmed everything that he said concerning the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
Which he pronounced against us.
See, that he pronounced against us. So we just read that in the curses, man. See? Go ahead.
And against our judges that judge Israel, and against our kings.
Yeah, meaning all of us went into captivity. That's why the Lord said there's no respect to persons, man. Go ahead.
And against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah.
Yeah, go ahead.
To bring upon us great plagues.
Woo! See? The curses. Go ahead.
Such as never happened under the whole heaven.
Yeah.
As it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses.
See that? And where was that written? In the curses, what we just got, man. So this is pretty much the conclusion, the aftermath. You know? You watch a movie 2 years later. You know what I mean? That's the caption here, man. The Lord made good on everything he said, man. Concerning what was spoken of in the law of Moses. See? Go ahead.
All right, it says that a man should eat the flesh of his own son.
Yeah, and that was in the curses, which we didn't read that, and that actually happened in 70 A.D., the time of Masada, which you can research all that. You know, that was a very dark time in the history of Israel, man, where you was forced to eat your own babies, man. See, the Lord ain't nothing to play with, man. See that? Go ahead.
He said that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter. Moreover, he have delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us.
Yeah, we was in subjection to not only Esau. There was a point in time in history where each and every one of these nations had us in captivity at one point in time or another. We was in subjection to all of these people, man. That was a part of the punishment that the Lord bestowed upon us. Go ahead, Al.
To be as a reproach.
See, to be as a reproach. Go ahead.
And desolation among the people.
Right, and that's a sign in itself. You know? The fact that our land is desolate, the scriptures tell you that Israel is a desolation that no man may travel through. I think that's Isaiah the 60th chapter. We'll talk about that no man will travel through thee.
See,
I believe it's either Isaiah the 60th chapter, might be Isaiah the 2nd chapter, but I'm pretty sure it's Isaiah the 60th chapter. We'll talk about you're going to be made to excellency.
See.
Let me see.
I get a quick reset, man. I'm looking for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this book of Psalms 147.
Yeah, it's the 15 verse, 16, 15. Okay. Go ahead.
Book of Psalms 147, verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
Yep. Go ahead.
Isaiah 60 and 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated.
Yeah, see, go ahead.
So that no man went through unto thee.
Right, that no man went through to thee, man. For an example, your neighborhoods. Who want to come live in the ghettos in Chicago, man? Or, in Compton, or Atlanta and Dallas or wherever. All the places where Jake at, man. That's the scripture. Read that again.
God, it said, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated,
Mm-hmm.
so that no man went through unto thee,
Mm-hmm.
I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many
And
generations.
that's dealing with the kingdom. That's the two extremes. But that was the point where no man would travel through it, right? So let's go back to
God, this Baruch 2 and 4 again. It said, moreover, he have delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among the people round about.
Right, yep.
Where the Lord have scattered them.
Yep. So you was a desolation to all these people. You was a gazing stock. You was a mockery to the nations, man. You was an astonishment. You ever notice you walk into one of these restaurants, these motherfuckers start speaking in their native tongue. They talking shit about you, man. Proving that you the Israelites, man. See? They feel compelled to the scriptures say they clap their hands and they hissed at us, man.
Yep.
It also in Revelation 11 chapter, they traded gifts and made merry because these two prophets, you know. Go ahead.
God, it says, thus we were cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against the Lord our power.
Yep.
And have not been obedient unto his voice.
Yep, and that's go back to the law. See? Go ahead.
It says, to the Lord our power, to the Lord our power appertaineth righteousness, but unto us and to our fathers open shame as appeareth this day.
See, read that again.
It said, to the Lord our power appertaineth righteousness, but unto us and to our fathers open shame as appeareth this day.
As appeareth, and appear means what? Sign. Something appear to you is made clear. So to this very day we are open shame, which proves we the Israelites. So that's pretty much it right there. You got something?
Yeah, kind.
Give me Isaiah 19, start at 19. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the book of Baruch 4 and verse 5. It says, be of good cheer, my people.
Yeah, so this is the aftermath. After the smoke clear and the dust settle, we ought to be of good cheer. Because there is a proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, man. See, that's why the Lord is to be greatly praised, you know, because he didn't forget his people and the covenant that he made with our forefathers, man. Right? Go ahead.
My people, the memorial of Israel, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction.
Yeah, the memorial of Israel, the memory, right? Go ahead.
You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction.
Go ahead.
But because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies.
Right. So the Lord again is giving you, showing you mercy by explaining to you why you was in this situation. Right? All right. That's it?
Yes.
All right. Come on.
God, Isaiah 19:19. In that day shall there be an altar to...
Hold up. Read that again.
God, it said, in that day...
And what day? This day. Go ahead.
Shall there be an altar to the Lord.
Right. And this altar symbolizes these different camps. Even what you're witnessing right now is an altar. Why? Because this is where sacrifice is being made. We could have been anywhere else, but we here with you tonight. And it's all under the banner of teaching the word, which is pleasant to the Lord, man. Okay? I forgot, I think it's in 2 Kings, where it talk about a certain king in Judah that did the things pleasing to the Lord, and that when you read into it, because he taught, man. You know? So that's what's pleasing to the Lord, man, to display knowledge. Read that again.
It said, in that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt.
And where's Egypt? That's right here in America, man. Right? Which Egypt symbolizes what? Hold that on there. So the mere fact that we are in Egypt and we are captives even to this very day, you want to get that too, as in Baruch? We're yet in this captivity to this very day. Is that Baruch 3 and 20 or something like that? Yet in our captivity to this very day. All right, go ahead and get what you got.
God, this is Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Yep, see the land of Egypt, right? Go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage.
See, out of the house of bondage. So you see where the word Egypt is synonymous with bondage. See that? So read again Isaiah 19.
Isaiah 19:19. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord.
All right, yep. Read that again.
Okay, all right. This is Isaiah 19:19. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt.
Right, which is the land of our captivity,
Mm-hmm.
which goes back to the curses, all right? The mere fact that we here as captives proves we the Israelites, but continues more. Go ahead.
Now, it says, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord.
Go ahead.
And it shall be for a sign.
And it should be for a what?
A sign.
Go ahead. So you see with captivity in the same breath with this sign, man. So the mere fact that we are the captives here, you know, that proves that we are the Israelites, man. So that shows that that's a gift in that, because you have Edomite, you just a slave, you know, one of them more blatant damn devils. They might say, oh, you go back, you came, you're a slave, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a blessing, man. That's a sign that we the Israelites, right? As cringe-worthy as that is, but it's the truth. The Lord set us here as a sign, and it's to work his work. The same thing happened in ancient Egypt. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart to put the clamps down on us and to further that oppression, only so he could swoop in and deliver us. Well, that's going to be played out again, man. Go ahead.
God, it said, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt.
See?
For they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors. And he shall
hey, come on, man. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's on all fronts. We crying to the Lord in the spirit, but even the 2/3 crying because of the oppressors. Even if it's something that's so, you know, a simple Jake saying they need overtime. You know, I just hate to say, you know, but they crying out because it's all because of the oppressor. See that? That's a sign. Right?
It said, and he shall send them a savior and a great one.
And a wet one?
A great one.
That's the spirit.
And he shall deliver them.
Yeah, see that? All right, so now, what you got?
Yeah, Curtis, Baruch 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse.
Which is a sign. A reproach and a curse is a sign. If you got leprosy, that's a curse that signifies it's a sign unto you. Right? We being a reproach and a curse is a sign in itself. Go ahead.
It says, and to be subject to payments.
Yep, well, we are subject to payments. You have to pay for everything here, man. You got to pay for water, which should be a God-given. That shows you, man, this devil, man, got to go, man. He came over here and stole this land, and he charging you for the water, man, over here, man. Fucking devil. Go ahead.
It says, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power.
Yep, which goes back to the curses in Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Right?
I got some.
Yeah,
this Haggai 1, and I'm starting verse 5. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but ye have not enough. You drink, but ye are not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earn wages to put him into a bag with holes.
Right, meaning no matter what you do here, you're not going to be comforted. You know, you can have all this money, or you know, you can have whatever status in this place. You're not going to be comforted because this is not your rest. You know, so y'all got anything else? And so, no, that's pretty much it. The point is what us being over here in captivity. You know, the curses that fell upon us is a sign and wonder in itself. You know, proving that we are the children of Israel. The so-called Negro, Latino, as well as Native American Indian, is the biblical Israelites. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, great millstone. Shalom to the brothers laboring in this work, as well as you believers out there, the Akim and the Akhwa that subscribe to the truth as well. Till next time, Shalom.
Shalom. DTA or Bible Ball.